All right, we're live with a little fun uh, recitation at the beginning. Bonus points for anybody who could tell me where that came from. Yes, I've got a fresh pot of coffee. I might regret it later, but we're here to have fun. So, right off the bat, yes, I know the video quality is going to be subpar tonight. I'm going to put that right out there, right up front. Nobody needs to mention it in the chat. Woosah. Um, so, good evening to you, David Grishko and David from Pete You for Doers. So, I did a thing today. As you may have seen or read, whether you've been visiting my community page or showing up to the rather lackluster live streams that have been the last couple, and probably this one, you know that I've been having internet issues. That's why this is supposed to be, although I make no guarantees, this is supposed to be in 720p. So right now, my internet service, well, shoot, let's just show you. Give me just a moment. My internet service, oh, that didn't go well. Are we here? Are we there? We're not there. What is going on? Okay, so much for that tonight. So my internet service, we're paying for 600 down and 50 up. Given the fact that I had to go back to my old cable modem, I'm getting about 277 down and 11 up currently. And therein lies my problem. Not only is the upload speed garbage, hot garbage, the latency is through the roof as well, and my attempt to deal with tech support at WOW, aka Wild Out West, and formerly known as Millennium Digital Media, and before that it was known as Horizon Cablevision. Yes, I go back that far. I got fed up and I called Comcast. So Monday morning, sometime between 8 and 10 a.m., I will have 800 megabit download from Comcast, and WOW can go throw themselves in a tree chipper as far as I'm concerned. Not that I'm salty at all about this whole mess. Excuse me. Holy crap, Ryan Rainier. Welcome. It's been a long time. We haven't talked in a while. Just a little bit of context. I do go by Jeremy now, and I have for the last 20 years. Just food for thought. No big deal. I know you know me as Jerry from back in the day, back in '89. Is when we met. Before we went on a wild adventure. Caffeine is a hell of a drug. Yes, you are right, sir. 720p equals TVJ's approval. I'll drink to that. I'll drink coffee to that anyways. Image froze. How am I not surprised? And it's back. Josephus! Or should I say, hey, Josephus! And you respond, hey, mother trucker! Yes, I purposely said that way, since we're only 6.5 minutes into this live stream. And Ashley's here. Ashley, I'll have you know, we are up to 0.7% female viewership on the channel. We've gone up. We've gone up. Somehow. I don't have any explanation why, but we've gone up. And Ezra says, sweet. Hi all, who wants a virtual cold one? Well, I've got hot coffee, so I might have something cold later. Of course, I do have my trusty water bottle. And yes, my coffee is black. I suppose I could quote the movie Airplane, but I'm going to refrain myself. All right. That should be a nice upgrade. Yes, it should be. I'm not entirely sure what the upload speed from Comcast is, but I'm sure it'll be at least 50. It'll be better than 10. I know that. Once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, I was once known as Jerry, and in 2004, August, on my first day of classes at Central Michigan University, I betrayed and murdered Jerry, and I became Jeremy. And the world has not been the same since. Or I'm just really freaking wired on caffeine. Good evening, Tony. Heck yes. All right. My wife just heard you say mother trucker and she started cracking up. Well, if I say mother trucker, I won't get censored by the YouTube because trucker is not a swear word. Ha ha. There's always a loophole. Speaking of loopholes, I've got a story. I told this story at work today. So years ago, I was managing a video rental store. Yes, I'm that old. Okay. So one day my supervisor decided he was going to mandate that we only watch videos on the TVs in the video store. We only watch movies that were PG or under. So what do? Being the smart A that I am, I start playing Smokey and the Bandit multiple times per day. Because, well, it's got Jackie Gleason in it, so that's a selling point already. But Smokey and the Bandit is rated PG because it came out, you guessed it, before 1984 when the PG-13 rating was introduced. So yeah, fun story there. More coffee. Okay, so 0.7, maybe a few people change their pronouns. Let's see. Black coffee is the only way. Black coffee and not only fresh ground, but pour over. I might have been morphed into a coffee snob at this point. I order from Coffee Cult. So if anybody asks, yes, I'm a member of a cult of coffee. All right. You sound like You started on the cold ones a few hours ago. No, I actually have had no alcohol in over a month. Over a month. The last alcohol I had was when I was in Illinois before I came back to Michigan. But after dealing with tech support tonight, coffee is getting me through, but I kind of wish I had beer. Let's see. I had a severe case of the hots for Sally Field. So David, inquiring minds want to know, was it just Sally Field in Smokey and the Bandit, or was it Sally Field in The Flying Nun a few years earlier? Or did you never see that series? I only saw it in syndication, so you know. But a lot of things were in syndication when I was a kid, like Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best and The Flying Nun and The Munsters and The Addams Family and yeah, some good stuff. All right. I like Mrs. Field and her cookies. Somehow I'm not surprised that that comment came from Joe. None of that. Har har. I cannot confirm or deny any of that. And yes, I saw The Flying Nun when it was live. Oh my. For anybody that hasn't seen The Flying Nun, go look it up. It's worth a watch. Jaws, Poltergeist, Gremlins are my favorite PG movies. And Indiana Jones and The Temple of Doom. Oh. We've got balloons tonight. I don't know how I pulled that one off, but apparently I figured out some sort of hand gesture. And TVJ is here. Welcome, sir. Ashley's laughing. My wife is listening. Is in listening distance. All right. So, I have one hell of a project on my hands between now and when the Comcast guy gets here. Comcast guy gets here on Monday morning, sometime between 8 and 10. So I need to basically clear out my office, which gives me an excuse to build my desk. But I get to clear out the office because apparently the guy needs to come in to the apartment. And then probably clear out my living room as well, so there's a clear path through this door behind me. And then I don't have to have him traipse through the whole apartment just to get to this room. Straight shot from the door from the parking lot to this door behind me. And in here, and hopefully it'll be an in and out thing, and in 20 minutes I'll have 800 meg service, and it'll be glorious, and I can hopefully put my internet service problems behind me and put WoW behind me, and get on with making content. So, let's see. It's WoW's last stand with the balloons. Haley is also watching. But is she watching on a separate device from you? Because if she's watching through your account, then she'd count as you, I'm guessing. But we'll count her regardless. I'll couches to individuals. Why not? And she was a nun, so there you go with that aspect. Yeah, okay. Haley's the other 0.4%. Sally Field in that TV show, that is. Sorry I was late. You ordered Comcast? Yes, I did. I ordered the 800 megabit speed just to give them a try. And if if everything works out and I can make my budget work, I'll go up to the 1.2 gig speed in a month or two. And then it'll be really amazing. Promised upload. Let me see. Internet deals. Just internet. Okay, so all I want is extra information about this. Well, there we go. So let's see. They are a little lacking in details. So I know I get 800 megabit download. They're not offering a lot of details on upload speed. So at the library we get 500 down on their business internet, and we get 30 up currently, but they're going to be upgrading the lines, and we'll be getting 50 up. So I'm going to make a small assumption that it's going to be at least 30 up. But I will be verifying that with the installer on Monday. Anything's got to be better than what I'm getting right now. So, oh yes. Good evening, Jacob. Welcome. We were watching together on the big screen in our living room. Very cool. You'll get twice the speed we do for about 15 or so less. Wow. 20 megabit on upload for 800. Well, it's a start. It's double what I'm getting now for upload speed. And usually, at least from what I've seen at the library, they told us that we're supposed to be getting 30 upload, and we are averaging more than that. So I'm hoping that the residential service is similar in that regard. Give me just a moment. I got to refill coffee. I'm going to be wired by the end of this. But I don't have to be to work until 11 tomorrow, so it's all right because I can sleep till 8:30. 800 is the same as my mom and sister's plan. They top out on download sometimes at 100, though. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I won't know for sure until Monday gets here. Worst case scenario, I cancel them if their service is bad, and I go back to WoW, and they'll have to figure out what is going on. But at this point I'm sick of dealing with them. All right, we are at 11 people viewing this stream. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button down below. Every little bit helps the channel grow, and I'm trying to push this year. So, yeah, we'll see what transpires. Um, Hundred megabytes, not bits, so that's 20 faster than advertised. Okay. And yes, hit the like, everybody. A like for the like. All right, so one of the benefits of switching to Comcast is that I have verification from their website that this $300 paperweight that I have from last summer, it's a Motorola Surfboard 8611, is compatible with their service, and it's got a 2.5 gig Ethernet port on the back of it, DOCSIS 3.1, and it will work with their fastest 1.2 gigabit service. So, that is in the plans for later in the year if I don't out of the blue end up moving out of state, which I haven't put any major activity into that proposition in the last couple of weeks, but that's still a possibility. But I'm going to say that if that happens, it's not going to happen until the fall. So, anyway, I go full-time on 5/31/2024. Is that full-time YouTube content creator? And Alonzo Smith is here. Welcome, sir. Like Usain Bolt of ISPs. 1.2 gigabit, time for a network upgrade. Well, I've got a couple of 2.5 gig switches. Cat 5e will do up to 5 gig. So running it at 2.5 is not a stretch. So I don't think I'll have to upgrade a lot of my network. But there may be some items that will get an upgrade. I did, at the beginning of the week, order a couple of things, and I don't have them within arm's length, but I got another Ubiquiti access point, a Unify access point, and a couple of PoE injectors, because I had my cloud Unify controller fail on me last summer. And so I had to put the first generation cloud key into service. So that took over my one PoE port on the Unify switch. So I had to get a PoE injector for my other access point that I already had. And then I got an additional access point to replace the old, like first generation round Unify access point that has been unsupported for a couple of years now. So I want to take that out of service sooner than later. All right. So, let's see. At least halftime, since I have another side hustle, I'll kick that off with a long live stream. Yes, congratulations to you, David. 65% YouTube, 35% my other gig. Well, I guess my dreams of catching up with you, subscriber wise, are going to be dashed at that point. I'll be redoing my studio and upgrading my internet. You will see a happier PE for doers after that. I am looking forward to it. Can't speak for the rest of these yahoos, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to more content from you, and I still am waiting for you to get that Atari ST out of the garage. So, I know we've talked back and forth about that a little bit. So, yeah. All right. So, what is everybody up to this week? I'm trying at the library. I'm trying to finish up the first half of a project to get 3 new computers set up with our online printing system. And so I've reached out to the vendor to schedule some time, hopefully for early next week. And then I can check that half of the project off my list, and I can work on the other half. Well, technically, the first 60% of it off my list. Because it's 5 computers total, and I've got 3 of them ready to go, except for the printing system, which there's a funky bunch of hoops that you've got to go through to get this all installed. And so I just call the vendor and have them remote in and do it. And I'm getting too old to deal with the headaches of these finicky installers. And if the vendor will do it, I'll let the vendor do it at this point. So that's my project this week, is getting that ready. I rolled out another access point at the library that I was going to mount from the ceiling, and it'll get there eventually. Hopefully before we move out to the other location a year from now. Knock on wood that we pass the bond. But we were having some major congestion issues. We had a bunch of people in the library the other day, so I got the other access point out and got it updated and put out in a spot that would work on a temporary basis until I could get it mounted on ceiling. So, a couple of projects there. Ooh, excuse me. So, yeah, things are going all right. Hopefully by Friday night, or at the minimum by Sunday night stream, you'll see a bit of transformation with the stuff behind me. The TV is going to go away for a little bit. The whiteboard is going to go out of here at least until the install is done on Monday. And with a little luck, I can work out getting the table built, or the desk built, and have that in here before Sunday night stream. Have stuff moved over to it. Maybe even a little bit of cable management done, because I've got a rat's nest on my desk. Between the ATEM and the mixer and a couple of USB and Thunderbolt hubs, another capture device, an external SSD, a game controller. I got too much stuff on this little desk, table, whatever you want to call it. Um, so the mini rack that's over here on my right hand side that you really can't see is going to move into the room on the other side of this wall that's in front of me, which will be nice because it won't be as warm in this room when I'm streaming. That Super Micro server and NAS boxing create a bit of heat, and sometimes it gets rather warm in here. So at least for the remainder of the winter and spring, they'll go in the other room. That room's a little cooler to begin with, since I don't have any ductwork in my apartment. And it'll be nice until spring, and then I'll probably have to move the rack back in here so that I can get AC from the room behind me and keep it cool during the summer. So that's kind of what's on deck project-wise here. I'll also be turning this whole set 90 degrees. So you can see in, let's see, this side over there, you can see that I've got a sloping roof. And so if I turn this 90 degrees, you're not going to see the sloping roof anymore, or ceiling rather. And I think going forward that will make for a nicer set. I'm just going to have to put up a poster or something on this wall to cover up a couple spots where I've taken some paint off over the last 6 years or so since I painted this room initially when it was finished. If I had more time, I would take the time to get some white paint and paint my base molding, but I don't have that kind of time between now and Monday. All right. Let's see. The Atari is waiting patiently. I'm just treading water at my current day job, dreaming of where I will be. We are getting new copiers tomorrow, but apparently the badge readers and printer server isn't ready. Should be a fun day. Oh, goody. I've been there. A few appointments to plan and prep for my upcoming surgeries. This weekend, I'm doing some mixed medium miniature painting with oils and acrylics for Warhammer 40k. Waiting on Asus to drop my OLED. Nice. Looking forward to all the changes. Thank you, Tony. I am very much looking forward to having a more stable upload speed and hopefully lower latency so that I don't look worse than I look on a daily basis already. So, yeah. All right. Jay's looking forward to it as well. I hope your new desk gives you much needed additional space for production and daily stuffs. Yes. I'm trying to also figure out how I can condense things a little bit. Because ideally I might be able to use the, and this was I think a suggestion from Tony. I've got rubber door stoppers as a stand for my ATEM Mini Pro, and what I'm thinking is I'm going to try to put them a little closer together and put the ATEM Mini Pro on top of the Behringer audio interface, and be able to consolidate cabling and whatnot together a little bit. If all else fails, then I've got some connections with people that do 3D printing, and if I can get them enough dimensions, I can potentially get a 3D printed riser that will fit over top of the Behringer that I can put the ATEM Mini Pro on. So I'm working a couple angles here to see what works longer term, and move some things forward. And I am really itching, especially with getting Comcast now. I'm really itching to make some changes and push harder this year on content and the Linux class that I keep mentioning every now and again. So, me three. I am behind building my granddaughter's new PC for her birthday. The pink PC I mentioned in our last joint live stream, very nice. Barbie pink. Barbie pink is so much fun to airbrush. I'm loving my new desk at work. It is a sit stand. Yep, that's what I've got out in the other room in the box yet. I need to bring it in here and assemble it. And in order to do that, I've got to move some stuff out of here. And since I've got to do that this weekend anyways, I might as well kill two birds with one stone and then get stuff moved over to that new sit stand desk. So, not sure if it's Barbie pink. I looked for whatever pink I could find for every component. I have a new Rodecaster Duo I have to make a video on. Interesting. That will replace my existing audio solution. Very nice. This pink is amazing. All right, so, hey, look at that. We're up to 14 people watching. 15. Do I hear 16? Do I hear 16? Come on, let's go to 16. This might just be a record for my live streams. And then we drop down to 14 again. Come on, let's get back to 15. Yeah, I might be having a little bit of caffeine interaction here going on. But hey, we're 38 minutes in. Everything's going all right. So if anybody was here right at the beginning, I won't say I completely did it justice, but if you've never listened to Frank Zappa's Joe's Garage album, it's a must listen. You got to listen to it all the way through at least once. You shouldn't do it with children around. But I read off the first verse of the Central Scrutinizer, and I tried to do it justice. But I don't guarantee. So my apologies to the Zappa Family Trust if I did not do that justice. I will probably chop that part out of the video that appears on YouTube after the live stream is over. But it's his words, but it's my voice. I don't know if I'll get dinged for that or not, but I did, in fact, record that at the beginning. So, yeah. So, if you hadn't guessed, I'm a bit of a fan of not only Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, but also Frank Zappa and more, what shall we call it? Avant-garde music. Yeah. Very technical for rock music. If you can technically classify his stuff as rock, it's really in a category of its own because he did rock, he did jazz, he did classical-esque, like 20th century Varese type music. Zappa was just uh, he was an interesting dude, right? So my first exposure to Frank Zappa was, I think it was Christmas 1982. My parents, for Christmas, got me um, a K-Tel collection called the Hit List on vinyl, no less. Yes, I'm that old. Um, and one of the songs on, oh, that's not going to work. One of the songs, that's not helpful, on this, I guess we can do this way, was, where is it? Frank and Moon Zappa performing Valley Girl. Oh my God, for sure, for sure. She's a Valley Girl in a clothing store. Yes. That was my introduction to Frank Zappa. And I didn't even really connect it when I got into Frank Zappa after high school. So 10 years later. So, but there's some good music on here. Huey Lewis and the News, Billy Squier. I mean, that's classic 80s fare. Van Halen's cover of Pretty Woman. Caught Up on You, 38 Special. You Better You Bet, The Who, which was probably my first introduction to The Who. You Dropped the Bomb on Me, the Gap Band. Some of you might be old enough to remember the Gap Band. I don't really have a lot of recollection of them. Hall & Oates, Rick Springfield, Little River Band, Air Supply, and The Police. So yeah, that was my Christmas 1982. But before that, I've got an uncle by marriage who was in the hospital around Christmas time and was sent home basically to die. But the one nice thing that he did for me that I remember is he gave me a tray of 8 tracks when I was, I don't know, 6, so like 1980. Maybe I was 5, so 79 or 80. Anyways, in this tray of 8-track tapes was the first Van Halen album. So here I was, a little kid, listening to Runnin' with the Devil. Molly Hatchet, Flirtin' with Disaster, which was a southern rock band akin to Lynyrd Skynyrd's, a similar type thing. There was an Elvis one in there that I didn't really listen to much, but there was also Styx, The Grand Illusion, which I know that came out in 77. What else? There were a couple compilation tapes in there too, I'm pretty sure. Those are long gone. I'm sure they're in a landfill somewhere. But the fun story with this, with the 8 tracks, is that when I was in high school, I had to take an art class, and art is not my thing, let me tell you. And we'll circle around to the art thing later, but coffee's almost gone. I'll probably be up till 2. So anyway, when I was in high school, I think it was my junior year of high school, I had to take this art class. and this art class was, you know, for people that really weren't that into art. So we did a little bit of drawing, did a little bit of ceramics and a bunch of other stuff over the course of a semester. Well, it just so happened that the art teacher had a 1970s stereo, like a tabletop stereo, that had an 8-track deck. And it actually worked. So I brought in this tray of 8-tracks. And I'm pretty sure that the first Van Halen album on the 8-track was the most popular. I distinctly remember one day when the art teacher left the room, somebody went to the front of the classroom, grabbed the Van Halen tape, shoved it in, cranked up the volume, and then you hear dump, 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 damn, Running with the Devil. I'm pretty sure the neighboring teachers were not too happy with us that day, but yes, there were a few shenanigans in my high school life. That was probably one of them. All right, so let's take a look at chat again. We're still at lucky number 13 for people watching. So thank you everybody for being here and sticking around and listening to my crazy stories in my hyper caffeinated state. And who knows, maybe after a short intermission we will go past an hour. Let's see. They also carry Black 4.0, which is even darker than Vanta Black. I must have missed something. Today is the anniversary of the Beatles hitting the U.S. scene on the Ed Sullivan Show. I am sure my mother was watching that when I was 8 or 9. I meant 8, not 89. An anniversary. I think I've picked up on that. I hate being the enforcer, but we still have slackers on the likes. Come on, people. It's all for a good cause. Help me out. Oh, yes, the Eurythmics. I was a pretty big fan of the Eurythmics back in the day, and the Police. What was the was it Wrapped Around My Finger that had the scene in the video that had all the candles? Or Wrapped Around Your Finger? Yes. This one. That was probably my favorite Police video on MTV. Yes, children, back in the good old days, MTV actually played music. I had to do that just for Joe. I had to take art in the 9th grade. Yuck. We used crayons, if you can believe that. Crayons. I figured. That was my lowest grade of 4 years of high school. Yeah, Ezra, I actually had the 1984 Van Halen album on cassette tape the year it came out. And Hot for Teacher was on that. And I played that over and over and over and over again. And yes, the the video for that was pretty amazing as well. With Waldo, there's a little look at the video. It's probably the least graphic part I can show. Okay, so we're all having fun here, right? The police slap. I gotta go. Have a good night, TVJ. Let's see. Roxanne by the Police is so good. Yes, it is. My favorite Eurythmics is Sweet Dreams. Yes, that has to be at the top of my list. And I will say that I didn't like the Marilyn Manson version when it first came out, but 20 plus years later, it's grown on me a little bit. I still like the original version best, though. Video killed the radio star. Yeah, that's too bad because I've got a face for radio, so too bad that's not a thing anymore, really. Oh, my coffee's getting cold. I'm not drinking it fast enough. Not Cribs on MTV? Yeah, it all started going downhill when they introduced, Yo, MTV Raps! On my next live stream, I have to tell a story about my 12th grade economics teacher. What a loser. Marilyn Manson's Cry Little Sister cover of the Lost Boys song a few years back was amazing. Yeah, I mean, Marilyn Manson has impressed me with some of his covers. Once I opened my mind a little bit to the covers. So, yeah. Almost gave me some hope we would get a remaster or sequel. Yep. MTV Headbangers Ball. Yes, that was the best. That was the best. You had to wait until like 1 o'clock on a Friday night. Van Halen, my favorite song, Little Guitars. Very cool. Headbanger Ball was amazing. Yes, it was. All right, so let's see. Reminiscing about MTV, I guess we're way off the topic of hardware at this point. How can I make this related to hardware? Back in the day, at my parents' house, we had a 25-inch RCA console television. See, I made it about hardware, right? And we had a VCR hooked up to it from Monkey Wards, aka Montgomery Wards, which apparently they're back, at least as an online store. Not that I've ordered from them, but I think I got a catalog out of the blue one day. And I think it was the year I graduated high school. I would have to look up the date. But after the 1980 passing of their drummer, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin finally put out a new track. So this was like somewhere between 90 and 92. And this track was called Traveling Riverside Blues. And apparently the story goes that they recorded this live on the spot, and it was sort of an improvisation of, various blues tunes that they had been accustomed to playing. And so I distinctly remember two things about the song. One, I recorded it onto a VHS tape at one point in time. And I think I've still got that VHS tape in a tote tub somewhere. And two, I also heard it playing on the loudspeaker system at the local mall. So, which was like the first time in my life I'd heard Led Zeppelin playing somewhere in public other than on the school bus I rode it in high school. Um, so needless to say, that song became one of my favorites out of their whole repertoire of tunes that they recorded, and really kind of locked in place my fandom of the universe of Led Zeppelin and everything that surrounds it. Fun fact: John Bonham, the drummer of Led Zeppelin, was the best man in Tony Iommi's wedding. Tony Iommi being the guitar player for Black Sabbath. How's that for intermingling bands that came from the same general area of England? Um, Might as well top off my coffee cup. I think I can fit the last of this in there and maybe drink it before it's completely cold. All right. Coffee's empty. Okay. Let's see. The days where TVs were pieces of furniture. Yes, this was a 25-inch console television sat on the floor, and we had a lamp on top of it. And yeah, it was quite the thing. Of course, in the early 80s, the first console television my parents had, that they got when, I think right after they got married, that was another 25 inch. That one, my dad had bought into the Selectavision video disc system in the early 80s. Now, this was a system that was put out by RCA, and I think JVC also made them. But basically, it was a movie on a vinyl record, and it had a stylus inside it and the whole 9 yards. And that was how I saw the movie Porky's for the first time. My parents had it, and my babysitter at the time found out about it, and so we all watched Porky's. I was probably 8, maybe. So yeah. And it's crazy to look back on that because I've got a 55-inch in my living room right now. And I'm sure I paid less for that than my dad did for the 25. 25-inch? Wow, mine was only 23. The darn thing got so hot it was unbelievable, or a fire hazard today. I believe it. Traveling Riverside Blues by Robert Johnson. Yes, it was in some ways based on that. Some of the lyrics were lifted. The music part was pure improvisation. It did not resemble a lot of what Robert Johnson did. Very good cover. Yep, you got it. Fun fact, since we're going there tonight, I guess, since I'm very caffeinated, and it's been probably a week since I made coffee. So, yeah, tomorrow's probably going to be a very interesting day. So, fun fact, Led Zeppelin was what got me into old school blues. When I was going to the local community college, I was lucky enough to be able to take 2 semesters of blues history. And to this day, I remain convinced that if schools want to teach white America about black history, music is the way to do it. because you can't learn about blues history without learning about black history in America. So that's my 2 cents on that, and I suppose it's relevant since it is Black History Month. So I've done my 2 cents worth of talking about that. I like to track down a functioning Sharp SF1 at some point before they become $5,000. They were a tube television from back in the day with a built-in Super Famicom and all the ports for the disk drive and such. Cool. So yeah, that would be fun. I would love to import from Japan, and they're already too expensive. But in Japan, they made a TV with a built-in PC engine, but those were never sold outside of Japan. 3 minutes to JAU. I must be behind on my chat because it looks like we're 2 minutes over that already. Those are super collectible and amazing. So my buddy in Illinois has a TV with a built-in NES. So that's kind of cool. Picture quality leaves a little bit to be desired, but yeah. Way cooler than even Laserdisc, probably, or mini VHS of airlines. Yeah, if I could get my hands on one thing that was sold in the U.S., it would be I think it was the Panasonic Laser Active, because you could get plug-in modules to play TurboGrafx games. It may have been region free. It may have played PC Engine as well. Sega Genesis, I'm pretty sure. And it seems like there was something else. But it also played the PC Engine and TurboGrafx disc-based games. Of course, being a Laserdisc player, it had a place to do that. But those are obscenely expensive. I remember watching Hey Hey on one of those cabinet TVs at my grandparents'. 1JU was just hit. Yep, I'm a little behind on chat by 3 or 4 minutes. Jazz and rock, rhythm and blues are super relevant, more than even just black culture. That's the culture of a whole class of people. Absolutely. Not every black person knows who Little Richard and others are. Yep. You got it. You got it. I did not know the difference between a white and black person until I was 13 when MLK was assassinated. I grew up in a very Miss Brooklyn neighborhood. I've never really been around multiple cultures. First time moving up to Michigan from Chicago. My sister and I wondered where all the darker people were. Well, yeah, I can understand that. Growing up, there was only one black family in the town I grew up in, or the village I grew up in, and they moved away after the elementary school closed. Years later, I found out that there's at least a rumor that they were run out of town. I don't know how true that is, but very white, very backwards town or village I grew up in, and I'm glad to be away from that place. It's very much dying. The village council over the years has let the business district be rezoned as residential, so there's really no bringing it back. It's gonna die when the hardware store and the gas station went out, the writing was on the wall as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's going to want to live there. So hopefully my audio is keeping up better than my video. It looks like it's having problems. So let's see. Blues greats in my MP3 collection: Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Buddy Guy, Robert Cray, Punani. Oh, I was the half white, half Puerto Rican kid, and my best friend was black. Yeah, it's people. People are strange, as Jim Morrison once sang. Um, I'm a firm believer that there's only one race, the human race, and um, you know, we're more the same than we are different when it comes down to brass tacks as human beings. So anyway, um, audio's good. Thank you. I appreciate knowing that because my video looks frozen to me. Um, Even today, my best friend is black, a Naval Academy graduate with an MBA, and retired from a state agency. Anything new at the library today? Not really. We did active violence training on Monday because I don't want to use the other term for it. I think most of you will pick up on what I'm laying down here. Active violence training. So we had the police and the representative of the fire department come in, and we went through that training, and we went through some first aid training. And man, tourniquets have changed since I was in the Boy Scouts. Holy crow! They've got like Velcro, and you pull it, and then you got the little twister thingy that I've already forgot the name of. But yeah, the twister thingy. Sue me. Oh, I'm wired. I am wired. Well, if you're a robot, I say, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo. I carry a TQ everywhere I go. Everyone should. Did they make you go under a desk? No. So the interesting thing about our library is that there's nowhere to hide. There is no safe place to hide. You come in the back door of the building, and to the left of the back door is the entrance into the staff area, which we are instructed by the police to keep locked at all times unless there's an event going on in that back room. And you can walk directly through that back room and into the staff work area. And from the front door, if you go behind the front desk of the library, you can walk right into that staff area. So there's really nowhere to hide, literally. And if somebody were to come in with a rapid fire weapon of mass destruction, our choices are to chuck books and things at the person and run. And yeah, I'm all for getting out alive at whatever cost. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we go. video. Any update with PyAlert? I have not done a lot more with it since I've been fighting this upload issue and planning the migration. Ooh, excuse me. Planning the migration over to Comcast. Hiding is not how you survive. Fleeing or fighting? Absolutely. I think that was it's part of what they are instructed to teach. Taking cover, but there's nothing. The walls are thin or hollow. The desks are pressboard. There's nothing to cover with that's going to protect you from a projectile, shall we say. I'm trying to stay under the radar of the YouTube with the talk of such things. I laughed out loud at Chuck books at the person. Yeah, I'm serious. The police officer actually told us that was an option. Throw whatever you have at the person. Yeah, the art of war. I was thinking more War and Peace myself, but tourniquets and Narcan kits and field stab and EMT training for everyone. Yeah, they didn't go over Narcan kits, but we did do the sticky stuff, or the covering for an open chest wound. And you put one on both sides, right? If there's an exit wound out the back, right? Mein Kampf, I'd like to just flush, but yeah. Fire extinguishers work very well in self-defense. Yep. You've just got to be able to get to the fire extinguisher first. It's the problem. Yeah. I carry Narcan as well. Yeah, I was being a bit serious. Oh, I get it. Absolutely. Can you get your CPL? I'm not sure if I would even be a candidate for that because of my eyesight issues. I've gotten astigmatism in both eyes. And I'm not sure I would be any more effective than the scenes in a show called The A-Team from the 80s. Everybody should be old enough to know that or seen it in syndication at some point. War and Peace would hurt more. Yep. Yes, chest seal. That's what I was trying to think of. Again, I'm not big on terms. I know what the stuff is. Just don't ask me terminology. It's not my field of expertise. Sucking chest wound, right. Hiding behind bookshelves with a lot of books can be effective in certain situations. Depending on which way the shelves are oriented. In our particular library, you come in the back door, and then if you're coming in the back door going towards the front, the bookshelves are perpendicular. There's a word you don't hear in a lot of live streams. The bookshelves are perpendicular to the path a person coming in the back door would be taking. So there's not really any hiding, because you basically have to hide on an end cap of books, and it's not going to be a viable option. Even the police officers pointed that out because of the way things are laid out in our particular library. If you can't get a CPL, I'd recommend the K-Bar under 5 inches as a dedicated box opener for the library in a locked drawer or something. Yeah. Um, anyways, sorry, I teach this as my second side hustle. I know. I remember chatting about this a little bit. Um, eyesight does not disqualify you from getting your CPL if you are using the corrective gear to compensate. Would that be like a laser scope or something? Um, wish Michigan would become a constitutional carry. Yeah. I guess we're talking about hardware again, so I guess this is okay. It's just not computer hardware. um, uh, Rambo, I'm never going to be, but hey. In a tier 3 state, I'd like full rock and roll, if you will. Yep. I'm cracking up. That's a word you don't hear a lot in live streams. Yeah, well, you're all getting a treat. Apparently, I recommend some of those math. I remember some of those math terms from back in the day. Not that I've ever used the stuff in real life, but hey, that doesn't stop them from trying to teach it, right? Geometry and trig were the only two math classes that really made a click in my head. Um, Everything else I had to repeat at least once to get through. The best survival technique is everyone charging at once. Many will survive. I guess a lot of us share the same feeling on personal protection and boomsticks. Yeah, there you go, boomsticks. Glasses or contact. Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm wearing glasses. That doesn't. I'm not sure how effective it would be with bifocals, but I suppose I have a lot of computer and self-defense hardware. I guess I've got more computer hardware than I do self-defense hardware, and none of my self-defense hardware is where I'm at. Um, so yeah, um, I am back. Did you play with Pylert? I have not got into the inner workings of the config file at this point, Alonzo. Um, I've been more trying to figure out networking issues and try to do anything in my power, mainly futzing around with DNS to try to improve the latency. And nothing I can throw at this has made any bit of difference at this point. T4E 50 cal, tier 50, 11 joule, not a firearm, but can be very deadly. Yeah. My count is about equal. All right. Well, so we're an hour and 19 minutes into this. We've still got 9 people hanging around. Why, I'm not entirely sure, but hey, I guess if y'all want to see me extra caffeinated, this is the place to be, right? Um, um, I don't think I've laughed like this in a while, so maybe this is a good thing that I drank a whole pot of coffee. I probably just won't be able to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning. So who knows? Who knows? I do want to check one thing here. Excuse me. I'm doing this Kindle reading challenge right now, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting every day of the month of February at least a few minutes in reading in the Kindle, so that I can have a perfect month of reading. Which yes, I'm trying to read more, just to balance my life out a little bit, and hopefully make some improvements in the next 6 months or a year. Um, all right. Coffee is a stimulant, and you seem stimulated. Well, okay. I resemble that remark. Jeremy, this was actually an excellent live stream with you so animated. Oh, so the trick is I've got to drink a pot of coffee during the first 40 minutes of the live stream, and maybe I can keep people coming back and engaged. Um, um, does the Kindle track the reading? So there's a Kindle app on my phone, and the Kindle my Kindle Paperwhite, which I've got right here. So I guess we're back to talking hardware. My Kindle Paperwhite syncs with the phone app, and so yes, indirectly the Kindle keeps track of when I'm reading on a given day. What are you reading? So right now, I am reading two books, and I keep bouncing back and forth between them. One is called Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, or Abdaal, Abdaal. And the other one is called The 12-Week Year, which is another sort of enhance your productivity type book by setting shorter term goals and viewing 12 weeks as a year and all that kind of stuff. So once I'm done reading that book, then I'm going to put the plan in action, which I've got the plan started. I just haven't picked a start date. So it'll probably be March 1 at this point. But I may start it on a upcoming Monday yet in February. But yeah, it's yeah. I recommend it as a technique. P for doers. I feel sorry for anyone uninvited to my house between the Bang Bang and all the martial arts items. I have a Paperwhite. Which app? The Kindle app. So, fun fact. You can get free ebooks from your local library, and with the app that the library provides, it will send a link to your Amazon account, which will then in turn allow you to send the free ebook to your Kindle Paperwhite. If you have a Kindle Fire tablet, you can use an app, I believe, and download them directly. But on the Paperwhite, you've got to go through a couple extra hoops to get it on your e-reader, which is all right because I like the Paperwhite. It doesn't give me the eye strain that reading on a color tablet did. And so this is my second Paperwhite. This is a 2021 model with no ads. But yeah, I have read at least one day for the last, 18 weeks in a row. So I'm kind of on a roll with this. So October I read 18 days, November 29 days, December and January both were 28 days, and 7 days so far in February. So I'm kind of on a roll. I found a couple books that I'm enjoying. and I've got a couple more. I somehow got on a mailing list at work that gives you access to free PDF versions of books. And so, as many of you will know, you can send a PDF to your Kindle and read it on the Kindle. Now, it's if you convert it to an EPUB, then it might have a little bit better formatting on the Kindle, but you can, in fact, read a PDF on your Kindle. So, coffee is almost gone in the bottom of my cup. And now it's officially gone. Okay. I am switching to water. And we'll keep this going for a while longer. Maybe we'll get 2 JAU out of it yet. I was irritated earlier and not quite sure if I was going to go past an hour, but here we are, an hour and 27 minutes in, and I guess since I'm sufficiently caffeinated, I'm ready and gonna continue this on. For that includes a squad of the uninvited, a former victim here. This is a good read based on real events. So I've got links turned off, Terrell. If you can just drop in the name of the book, that would be great. Oh, I take that back. Ezra says, woot woot. The Cuckoo's Egg. Clifford Stoll, I believe, right? I do believe that's a Clifford Stoll book. Yep. The Cuckoo's Egg. I read that book. I read The Cuckoo's Egg. I may have still been in high school. 1989. So yeah, that came out my freshman year of high school, or sophomore year of high school, depending on what time of the year it came out. Yes, that was an excellent book, and honestly, I should reread that. That is one book I remember from high school. The other book that I remember from high school was called Eye of the Needle. Ken Follett, also known as Storm Island. It's a World War II-ish type story. Or right before World War II. This was the cover. Of course, it was the English version, but this was the same cover that was in the school library that I checked out to read that book. So, another great read. Okay. All right. Good deal. The Cuckoo's Egg was my introduction to computer security, a bit dated. Yes, but I still enjoy movies like War Games and Sneakers and Hackers and Swordfish. They're all a little far-fetched. They're all a little dated, but I still enjoy them. Call me nostalgic, if you will, but okay, time for my final security check and then between the sheets. Tomorrow is a day job, early morning. Good night, all. Have a good one, David. Thanks for coming in and sticking around this long. I'm trying to track down a deluxe edition version of the Inkle from the 90s before it gets made into a movie that will probably be bad because Disney. Right. Hackers and Swordfish are lit. Yes. Ezra, you'll probably remember me playing Hackers quite a lot in the video store back in the day. um, yes, Ezra and I go back, uh, 22 ish years. 22 ish years. Not as far as Ryan, as far back as Ryan. He and I go back to 89, but I think Ezra and I met somewhere between 2000 and 2002, because 2002 was when I left the job at the um, video store. It all started with a flaw in Emacs. Yep. Mr. Robot, the TV series, is another great one. I've got to try to get into that. I tried watching it and I just I wasn't in the right headspace at the time, and so I didn't get into that. Um, Halt and Catch Fire, I love. There's a lot of fiction in that, but there are some real issues that they addressed in that show that small companies in the early 80s, late 70s and early 80s, there was I'm having trouble forming sentences now. So yeah, similar events would have taken place in real companies to what were portrayed in the series. Let's put it that way, I guess. I wore out my copy of Hackers, so I've got a copy of Hackers. Oh, there we go. The thumbs up. Everybody do the thumbs up thing. I've got a copy of Hackers on DVD. I've got a Blu-ray copy of Hackers, and then I've got the I think it's the anniversary edition. It had Blu-ray and 4K in it. So from 480p to 4K, I'm covered. I still love that movie, and maybe in part because of a very young Angelina Jolie, but it's all good. A guy can dream, can he? You know. Probably better get more good old fashioned water in my system. Maybe it'll even out the caffeine, and might be able to get a few hours of sleep tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to have to prop my eyelids open with toothpicks tomorrow afternoon, since I'm working the 11 to 7 shift at the library, so that's going to be a treat. All right, we're an hour and 34, almost 35 minutes in. We still got 5 people watching. Thank you all for sticking around. I appreciate it. So we've kind of been all over the map tonight. I tried to keep a few hardware related things in here. At least we started with hardware related topics. So yeah, I'm probably going to use this pent up energy I've got now to get out of this chair. We'll probably stay till the 2 hour mark, but I'll probably after the stream I'll get a bathroom break, and then I'm going to start working on getting stuff taken out of this office and getting prepped for the big event on Monday morning. So this will be fun. At some point, currently pushed back a little bit, but at some point later in the spring or early summer, I have plans to purchase a Grandstream. Was it the 6301 PBX? I've already got a couple of Grandstream VoIP phones. I will probably at some point upgrade at least one of those for the office phone, but the other two are fine for other places in the apartment. So that's on deck. So that'll be, I'm sure, one Hardware Wednesday at some point. I'm thinking probably June-ish. But I've got a few other things that I haven't ever really talked about on the channel, and being able to do a little bit of reorganizing as I prep for this internet switch over on Monday will hopefully let me get some of those things on deck for an upcoming stream. So the other thing, and I'll put this out to people in the audience at this point. The other thing that I'm kind of contemplating at this point, for some long form videos. I started thumbnails for these, and please don't judge me on my lack of artistic talent, which I've got practically zero. But I've started working on the thumbnails for these. I'm trying to figure out Authenticator app. There we go. 810765. Started working on thumbnails, and I'll pop this up. So I'm not completely sold on this yet, but I'm trying to put into action some of the feedback I received from the channel audit I had done last week. And one of the things was to, not use such busy backgrounds, and I was told 4 words, which technically this counts as 4 words or 5 words plus a number. I'm not sure how to get the point across and not do this without adding additional logos or something to this thumbnail. Again, I'm not a graphic designer. I'm trying to learn and be self-sufficient with thumbnails, but I ain't there yet. The other one I started working on was Top Debian-based distros 2024. And again, this is, the type of video that goes with this. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to take the suggestions that were made and apply them. But this is a sneak preview of some that I've been working on, and who knows, I might scrap them and do something a little different. But I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a graphic designer. Not bad. Lots of blank space though. Yeah, that was not actually one of the critiques that I was given, but um, the a video I was watching today about thumbnails was going on about blank space. So really, for this one, you know, I can make tux bigger. Well, big enough to still put a crown on, I guess, because that was my idea for this. But I don't know. It's still I'm not feeling this. I'm still not feeling this. So I don't know. Different background. Yeah, I've thought about that. I've used gradient backgrounds in other videos. Um, I just uh, and now we're doing a live graphic arts lesson apparently. So let's just delete that out. Um, you know, I mean, there's something like that that gives a little bit of pop. Of course, if I do that, I don't need the. Well, I guess what I could do um, is make those blocks behind the top and the 2024. I can make those yellow because that would stick with the color scheme of tux. And I don't know. I don't know. Um, let's see. Let's see. I like that. He might need a throne though. See, now I think that would make it too busy myself. A throne of inferior OSs to sit on. Make the penguin much bigger. Should I get rid of the crown and just make the penguin bigger? Oops. I want to do that. That. So more like that. Is that yeah, let's just get rid of that. Let's do that. I can figure out that part later, but is that any better? Try using a textured background. That will help. Much better. Imagine most people. Yep, I got it. Checkered would be cool. Make top in 2024 a different bright color. Let's see. So, ooh, that's not no good. I'll have to play with this some more. I almost think making it yellow and then putting something solid behind it. I don't know. I don't know. On the white background, even the textured background, I'm not sure I like that. Drop shadow behind the penguin. Thinking less busy background. Try blue goes with black, yellow, and black. Okay, so blue textured background. I don't hate it. yellow with a more gray textured background. Gray textured background. All right. Now, photos. Let's get rid of this. Gray. That's better. Yikes. The other thing is you don't always want the title to be in the thumbnail. For the example, those words could be Debian for the win or something more general on the thumb. Yeah. Well, this was just something I kind of threw together on my lunch break today, and just to play with it some more. I didn't get all the way through this video on thumbnail do's and don'ts, so I'm just trying to get a little bit more focused on creating thumbnails. Hey, try maroon or orange. I don't know. That's too dark. I think that's too dark. So I wonder. Again, I don't hate it. I don't know. I think it might be easier to read in HC. Explain HC to me. High contrast? I don't know. Don't make the wording on the thumbnail the same as the title. Right. Always be different. The red and yellow reminds me of McDonald's. See, now, I went to Central Michigan University, so the maroon and yellow reminds me of my school colors. So, I don't know. It's supposed to be more maroon than red, but maybe I'll have to work on that a bit. Think of it this way. Thumbnail is to catch the eye. Title is to get the click. First 15 seconds are to get the retention. Right. Yeah, I get it. I just, I don't have an eye for these things, so I've got to come up with a pattern that I can use, or a checklist I can use to really make sure I approach these things in a little bit more systematic way, because that's the way my brain works. Unfortunately, I don't have the art gene. I just don't have the art gene. So I'm going to continue playing with this. I'll probably change the wording. But this maybe the wording I've got is better for the title, and I'll do something else in the thumbnail. But I just like I said, I'm no graphic designer. I don't play one on television. My artistic capabilities are in a negative number, shall we say. If it weren't for Canva, I'd be completely up a creek without a paddle. or wrapped helically around an inclined plane. Uh, to steal a line from the Big Bang Theory. High contrast. I like it. Don't worry, there will be an AI soon to make these for you. Yes. Well, the other thing I'm looking forward to is YouTube is supposed to be rolling out this year A/B testing for thumbnails. So I'll be able to make 2 thumbnails per video, upload them both, they'll test them and keep the better one. And I'm very, very much looking forward to that, because that is going to be huge for pushing this forward. That was one of the big digs in my channel analysis. The guy gave me some good feedback. He said there were a lot of good things that he saw on my channel. I've got some shorts. I've got, a pretty active community tab. I've got live streams. I've got long form. But the big thing that I think he dinged me on was the click-through rate, and thumbnails, and it's like, so I want to point out one thing, I guess. I'll show this. I'll show this. I want to go into views, and I want to show you this. Now, this is not the original thumbnail for this video. And in all honesty, I think this thumbnail is hot garbage. But this video, since publishing, has 50,000 views. And I've made $234 on it. So, in the back of my head, based on what I've seen, I'm not so convinced the thumbnail makes the video, or the title makes the video. This title, Booting Over the Network with Fog Server, a step-by-step guide. That was something that was generated from vidIQ, I'm pretty sure. This video here, 47,392 views. Another thumbnail I think is hot garbage. But it made me money. And to go one further, this one didn't make near as much money, but here's another hot garbage thumbnail. The text is too small. I violated the guideline of not putting your branding on it. I've got the year in super small text in the corner, which is going to get covered up by timestamps. This is hot garbage. 34,000 views. So I don't get it. I don't get it. AI is the ultimate stoner companion. Can answer all those what ifs and how abouts. Title and thumb don't make the video, but it sure does help. Right. I get that. I'm surprised and impressed that these videos, and these were, these have been out since, okay, this one, this Almay Partition Assistant came out in August of 2019. Prior to that, a lot of my videos didn't even have thumbnails. I think it was 2018 or 2019 when I actually started doing thumbnails. But, you know, also, you are one of the 2 people making fog videos. Right. When I started making fog videos, there was nothing up to date with that current version. So I started making fog videos at like version 1.3.4. And for every, couple of releases, I would make a new series of videos, 2 or 3 videos to go with it. But the problem is the developers stopped putting out updates for fog. The last update for fog came nearly a year ago. March 5th, 2023 was the last update. There's been nothing since then as far as a production level update. Now, you can play Russian roulette and run the development version, but, now the thing is, when I was doing these craptastic thumbnails, I was still learning video editing. I was still learning audio editing. I was trying to upgrade equipment a little bit at a time. And, I don't know why anybody still watches the videos from 2019. Because I think anything before, say, September of 2021 is garbage as far as video production quality. But, people are still watching those videos, and that's why I don't take them down. So, they're for old versions of the software, but I just, I don't know. I don't know. If you are niche enough, it won't matter. The fog video background color scheme is nice, warm on the eyes. It may be, but it's the text is too small. I probably should spend some time updating those. But I mean, since they're videos that people are still watching, there's some reason in the back of my mind to update those thumbnails. Whether it'll help, I don't know, but my gut tells me just update the most recent one and let the old ones just kind of fade into oblivion. But but your channel will stay so niche if you can't branch out. Right. Well, that's why I've been trying different things and not relying on fog. So, that's where I got most of my views. That's what got me monetized. But it kind of painted me into a corner when the developers stopped pushing updates as often. And, excuse me, in my estimation, I've never really regained that momentum because I haven't found anything else that has attracted the viewers the way the fog videos did. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm really, I'm kind of stuck because I don't have the money to make this a review channel. And I don't have the magic answer to getting sponsored equipment or anything of that nature. And if people want to start sending me equipment to review, absolutely, I'll review free equipment. With the caveat that I'm not going to let them see the video before the review gets published. But you know, it's one of those things. I'm trying to find something else to fill that void that's been left by the lack of development in Fog. Now, you know, I know that people tend to not fix what ain't broke, and so there's a lot of people that are going to be out there still using Fog because it still works. We'll see what happens when the new version of Ubuntu LTS comes out. See if it breaks anything. And that may be the foot in the door for doing another Fog video, testing the existing Fog version on the new version of Ubuntu, testing it on the new version of Debian, on Debian 12, which I think 12 was out when I did the last one. I don't remember. But, you know, I just... this has always been more of a software-related and free and open source cross-platform software-related channel, because lower barrier to entry to try to get monetized to make money. So, you know, I'm thinking that what I'm going to start doing is branching out into doing a little bit more general things with Linux, talking about different Linux desktops, talking about different pieces of software that run on Linux, many of which will also run on Mac OS and Windows. But, you know, I'm not sure if my heart's really in that. So, I don't know. If any of you 4 people that are left have suggestions or a preferred path that I've mentioned, I'm willing to listen to feedback. But let's catch up with chat. Wowzers. I'm looking forward to possible cosmic content from System 76. Yeah, once they update and have a at least release candidate of Cosmic, I'll be covering it as well. I am very much a fan of Pop OS. That's running on my AMD B-Link mini PC in the other room. And I'm itching to see what the update is going to be like. Could you do some videos on workarounds for SteamOS users on mobile and light-powered devices? That's possible. I guess I'd have to dig deeper into doing tuning for games on Pop OS. I don't have anything running SteamOS currently. I've thought of getting a Steam Deck OLED, but I'm at the same time tempted to wait until the Steam Deck 2 comes out and not get cornered into a first generation project when, you know, we're a year or 18 months from a second generation product. And Joe says, I think blending some of the deeper niche tech stuff that people come here for and some more general getting started and distro overviews to get new peeps is good. So you know that's funny you mentioned that. So I want to show one other thing in my analytics. Um, I did a video. Excuse me. I did a short, rather. Um, on the 26th of January. Um, and they got 2,553 views. And granted, doesn't do much for money. I made 19 cents. But it got me 17 subscribers. So, um, that one really, really surprised me out of left field, that it did that well. Um, 6,900 times it was shown in feed, 2,600 almost views, 2,552, and 2,500 unique views. But yeah, I mean, shorts are like a flash in the pan type of thing. They'll do good for a minute and then it's over. So you know, my thought is that doing a series of shorts on, you know, Linux commands, Unix slash Linux commands, in the short term might get some new viewers in, especially younger viewers that have the attention span of a housefly. I personally wouldn't find this content compelling myself, but I'm not Gen Z. I'm you know, it's one of those, I guess it's a generational thing because I'll sit and watch a 2-hour video if it's a topic that I'm interested in. But I know that doesn't fly with the younger viewers. Now, that being said, my audience does skew a little older. So the two biggest sections in age demographic is basically 25 to 44. Males, mostly. So I'm not even in my own target demographic. Apparently, only 16% in my age group are in this demographic. And then, you know, it keeps going down from there. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know. You might want to do some more fun commands and power Unix tricks. Windows 10 11 has the SFC scan now. Yep. To clean up deal extensions. I don't know what deal extensions, dead extensions. I don't know. And corrupt files. Might get some more clicks. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking like the dism command to refresh a Windows install from the command line might make a good short. You know, those are just two off the top of my head. The alias command on the Windows side, which is also a Unix command, but it shows that it shows which Unix commands are mapped to which PowerShell commands, because Unix commands are shorter to type. And obviously, somewhere along the line, Microsoft realized that. Um, Dead. I guess my caffeine is starting to wane a little bit, and I didn't put that one together. Um, Dang, I forgot about Dism. Yep. Um, you know, the IP config, what is it? IP config, the DNS refresh commands in Windows, the flush DNS, IP config / flush DNS. I honestly, I'd have to dig out my references on PowerShell and some of this Windows stuff in order to make these videos, but I can make them. Um, I just, I don't know. I guess a part of me, because I've had such a Unix and Linux mindset for the last 26, almost 26 years. Um, Part of me feels like making Windows videos would be selling out. Just to get clicks and grow the channel. And I guess I've got to come to grips with whether I want that growth and am willing to step out of my comfort zone and do those kinds of videos, or um, whether um, whether I should just go for it and you know, keep the emphasis more on the Linux side, but add more Windows related videos into the mix. NVMEs are a hell of a thing. Would love to see some vids out of that room too. Yeah. Got a Micro Center nearby, 90 minutes away. Or would the library let you film there once? That's a possibility. Um, I guess with my wireless mics and my phone, I could do something at the library if I could clear it by the director and potentially the board. I'm not sure if that would fly or not. The community center would be an easier task. I actually captured some footage while I was there on Saturday. I just need to review it and then get permission to use it. Windows is required to do all the inter-system BS of modern computers. Depends on what industry you're in. There are places where you don't find Windows very much. Web hosting is one of them. Average person owns more than 3 operating systems now. So I don't know. Just spitting off ideas, I guess tonight. I'm trying to bring up my skills in the thumbnail department. And honestly, if I had the bankroll to do it, I would hire not necessarily a person to make them for me, but to help me through the process on a handful of them, enough that I train my eyes to see the things that work and don't work, and I'm convinced that that's just going to come with more practice. But I need to find a way to accelerate that process. I guess is the point I'm at. Because if I can make better thumbnails on my own channel, then when I go to make more content for the library channel, I can also do justice to that content. Which, I mean, the library channel has like 50 subscribers, if that. So, I mean, that's not gonna do anything for a while. But if I can lay a foundation, that would be a good thing. All right. Interesting. I was initially planning to go only an hour, and we're over 2 hours and 15 minutes into this Charlie Foxtrot of a stream. And I froze again, apparently. So, any other questions, comments, suggestions, topics, anything from anybody still in the chat that you want to contribute? If not, I'm probably going to wrap this up and wind it down in the next 5 to 10 minutes. That way I can spend an hour taking some stuff out of this room and starting the work to get it ready for Monday. Just want to make it known I didn't push you to go this long. No, you didn't, Joe. You're off the hook this time. This time. You're off the hook this time. There, I'm on record saying it more than once. Over 89% of people use the Windows variant on a daily basis. 97% of people use an Android or Linux-based OS. Yep, and 88% of people use an Apple device, either smartphone or Mac. Right. And it's especially interesting if you count both Android and Chrome OS as Linux variants. And find a way to factor in that the numbers for Linux are calculated in a completely different way than what they are for Windows and Mac OS and Apple related devices. You can probably get hard numbers on Android and Chrome OS to some extent. But as far as server and desktop Linux, it's a guess. It's a guess because you can download one ISO image and you can install 50 computers and it counts as one download. And so all the numbers for Linux market share are very skewed and they're likely low. And the other factor that comes into this is that many of the statistics that are released are very US centric. You get into Europe and into developing countries in Africa and parts of Asia and the Middle East, and you'll find more Linux because lower barrier to entry. It runs on older computers, no licensing, and yeah, it's very interesting. And no, I'm not saying that the year of the Linux desktop is ever going to happen, but you know, pie in the sky. It really looks like Microsoft is hoping to rent Windows to everybody. And frankly, there are a lot of parts of the planet where there is not sufficient infrastructure to make that work. And in those cases, Linux is going to play a role going forward. So, for sure, looking forward to Valve crushing Sony and Nintendo in sales in a generation or two more of the Steam Deck. Abso-freaking-lutely. I would love to see them become strong enough that they push Microsoft out of the Xbox console business. And if they push Sony out too, all the better. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Um, Now, I'm not sure about Nintendo, but I know Sony uses, or last I knew, they were using a BSD based operating system for the PlayStation 3 and 4, and I think the 5. Um, I don't know if that's still true or if they've moved on to something more custom in house, but. Um, there was a video I saw the other day, and it made a strong case for um, a changing of the guard, meaning that um, kids are getting more exposure in school these days to Chrome OS than they are to Windows and Mac OS. And so, as this group of kids grows up and enters the working world, there's going to be more opportunities for Chrome OS to take a more dominant role. And to their credit, I will say that Google has been doing more to enable Linux apps to run on Chromebooks and Chrome boxes and whatnot. So, there's some potential there, especially since they're also working with Valve to make Steam run on Chrome OS. So you're likely going to see more powerful Chromebooks that are capable of running Steam, and it might be just 2D games to start with, but if that can be made to work and work well, then each generation of Chromebooks that comes out with more powerful processors and more powerful graphics are going to help change the landscape, because if people can do their gaming on Chrome OS, there's not as much of a selling point for Windows. I hate to break that to people, but you look at the historical context of kids my generation that grew up. There were a lot of Apple IIs in school, and so people moved from Apple IIs to Macintoshes, and stuck with that Apple ecosystem. A lot of people did. I didn't have Apple IIs in school, but or not till middle school, anyways, and they were kind of long in the tooth at that point. But it just like, and this is going to be controversial, but just like religion, if you get them young, you'll hook them for life. In a lot of cases, it didn't work on me, but like vampires, I'm allergic to BS. So, I'd like many more Linux devices. It'd be cool if Valve did a Walkman based in Linux like the Sony Android one. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. So, all right, we'll run this 5 more minutes. We'll get 2.5 JAU, and then I gotta get out of this chair and move around, and maybe do a little bit of cleaning yet tonight. Maybe run a load of laundry yet tonight while I'm cleaning. It's amazing what caffeine can do, you know? Amazing what caffeine can do to a person. That's what I get for drinking a pot of coffee after 9 p.m. I'll probably regret it tomorrow, or I'll need more coffee to function. So I'll probably be up before 9, and I'll probably drink a pot of coffee before I go to work at 11. My coworkers won't know what to think. May the flying spaghetti monster have mercy on their non-existent souls. All right. So, just to wrap this up and to come full circle back to hardware. One site that I've been watching more lately is liliputing.com. And just for the sake of argument, I will throw this in chat. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Get rid of that. But Liliputing has a lot of small devices, a lot of coverage of like single board computers like the Raspberry Pi and different things, and mini PCs. So this is fun for me to watch. They cover this AMD Embedded Plus architecture with the AI stuff. Minis Forum has a 14-inch Windows tablet with a Ryzen 8040. Pre-orders next month. Here's another one. Aya Neo Pocket S handheld game console with a 1440p display, Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 processor, and up to 16 gigs of RAM. So this is kind of a fun site for me to watch. But they've also got, you know, their deals, and mini PCs is the part that I like the most. So I'm really interested in what these 8000 series Ryzen processors are going to do. I from the reading I've done on them already, they're gonna be great, especially in these mini PCs. You know, for a few $100s, you can get a decent gaming box for people who aren't like super hardcore gamers. So, you know, maybe time to order some decaf. You're probably right about that, actually. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep anytime soon, but I don't know. Maybe part of this is just me projecting since I'm doing this live stream thing. But one more minute to go, and we can wrap up for the night. And it's almost midnight, so hey, it's all good. Woo, don't want to do that. So anyway, probably the next order I placed a coffee cult. I will order decaf and do that for these late night live streams. I always enjoy your streams. Thank you, Joe. I was impressed Intel crammed the 13900 into a NUC. Yeah. That's a lot of heat to battle in such a small area. Yeah, I think they did the mobile version of the 13900, though. I don't think they did the desktop version, did they? But we have made it 2.5 JAU on a Wednesday night. Who would have thunk? And yeah, next order to Coffee Cult, I'll order some decaf. And I'll try not to fill the coffee grinder with the regular stuff so that if I'm doing these evening streams, then I can not be this caffeinated. But In all honesty, normally I don't drink a whole pot of coffee like this, and not in the amount of time that I drink this pot tonight. So, yeah. Um, let's see. Let's finish up chat and we'll close down for the night. I think the extreme variant is the full-fledged desktop. Wow. No decaf. Okay, so Joe, you and Ashley are going to have to battle that one out, but I'm not completely against her suggestion of decaf. I don't think I've ever drank decaf before, but we'll see if it uh, works or not. Just downclocked like 300 megahertz. That's still not bad. Energized Jeremy is fun. You know, I wish I could harness this during the day sometimes. Usually I don't get this wound up before I go into work. Maybe that's just because I know I'm going into work and I can't make myself do it. Downclock by 300. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming out and watching tonight. I'm going to pull a Tony and I'm going to put this back up on screen to end it. And have a good night. Everybody go get some sleep. I'm probably going to be up for another 2 hours. See ya Friday if all goes well.